Morning. Martinsville Speedway. And the Cookout 400 lap race today. I know we're usually we're used to 500 lap race. Doing a couple things here. This video before we get into this. All right. Morning. Looks like there might we kind of went from the stuff I saw yesterday on Twitter was that rain was definitely going to be in the forecast, but it looks like we might get some rain at the start of the race, maybe in the middle of the race as well, which they have rain tires to work with this weekend in case we do get the rain. And I don't think it's going to be bad enough to postpone the race much. They got the rain tires to race on. We saw the rain tires last year at New Hampshire, which is another short flat track. Not a great comparison to Martinsville. We really don't have a great comparison to Martinsville other than Martinsville itself. But, we can kind of look at all those short flat tracks. The thing is with Martinsville, and it's always been this way for even before the next gen car, when I first got into this fantasy NASCAR stuff, there's a group of guys that are always good here. There's a reason that Joey Logano has 10 straight top 10 finishes here. He's just that good here. Ryan Blaney is really good here. Never finished worse than 7th in the next gen era here. Hendrick Motorsports has always been really good here. Jeff Gordon's was always really good here. Jimmy Johnson was always really good here. Like, you could always pencil those guys in for good finishes. And it's the same thing here. Chase Elliott's going to be really good today. William Byron has won the last 2 spring races. He's going to be good today. Alex Bowman doesn't have the greatest track record here, but he's going to be good today. He has speed. Larson, going to be good today. Yeah, so it's weird the different forecasts that we're seeing this week. I'm pulling up let me make sure I'm looking at the right place here, but I think Pockers tweeted that there's 30% chance of rain, maybe a little bit higher when I saw his tweet this morning. But I'm looking at AccuWeather right now, which is kind of the app that I use for me. And it's got 51% chance of rain at 1 p.m., 51% chance of rain at 4 p.m. So there's kind of feels like there's going to be, potential rain in the area, maybe that rain that we don't really know. But, only the Weather Channel only having 1%. I don't think that's accurate either. So it'll be interesting. It's just another wrench that's potentially thrown into this race. That's cool. It is a DFS wise, and betting wise, NASCAR is one of the best to put money on and sweat it out during the race, because like when you compare it to like football, a player has a touchdown or however many yards and they can't lose that during the race. Just looking at this from a DFS perspective, NASCAR, they can wreck and lose all the points that they potentially have. It is, and betting wise, same thing. If you have a bet on a guy, he can go from leading the race to, blowing a tire and finishing 30th, and it only takes a couple minutes. So NASCAR betting wise, fantasy wise, is definitely one of the best sports out there. In my opinion, I know I'm biased, but let's see here. We'll get into strategy here, but I don't think that there's a need to go 3 dominators today. I'm actually pretty honed in on who I want to target today. And I'm sure, like as usual with these live streams, I'll get and I'll get on some other guys. But right now, I'm seeing 3 of the higher price guys, and then 3 of the lower price guys, and I'm not really getting to that middle section of the driver list here, price wise. He came in, so Bell, long run speed numbers, he came in like 17 laps in and started making adjustments. So they knew that car was not good on the long run. Came in lap 17. So that's skewing those long run numbers, and that's why you're seeing such a dive in his rank. Now, he still fell off quite a bit, but it's not as drastic as people think. And as far as, him getting the pole, he didn't even think he had a chance of getting the pole with how early he went out. I didn't see that anywhere. It kind of throws a wrench into things. I still love Chase Elliott today, starting outside pole. I think he gets up there and leads quite a bit. The big question is what you're going to do with Bell. Do you go Bell? Could you go Bell and Elliott today? I could see Bell leading 70 laps. He's won here before. His other races have not been good here, though. But it's all going to come down to Bell and what you want to do with Bell. Because I for most of these lineups, I think you're immediately starting Blaney, Chase Elliott. Like they're the 2 go-to guys this week. So then it comes down to, do you add Bell in there? Do you go Bell off of Elliott? Do you go Bell and Elliott with Blaney? Kind of some decisions you have to make there. But yeah, Bell is the biggest question mark today, as he always is. Like if you followed me for very long, if you followed me for even this season, he is my arch nemesis, 100%. So I can almost guarantee that whatever decision I make on Bell and wherever I'm at on Bell at the end of the day is going to be the wrong one, because he's somehow going to screw me over. I will note DraftKings opened him back up for single fastest lap at 25-1. If he has the fastest lap today, I will state it right now. If Christopher Bell has the fastest lap today, I will consider taking him off my dead to me list. Not guaranteeing it, but if he has the fastest lap today, and pole sitter or front row starters typically have the fastest lap at Martinsville, and they typically set it pretty early in the race. So if Christopher Bell gets fastest lap, I will potentially take him off my dead to me list. I also don't hate Zane Smith today. I don't think there's potential for him to get off my dead to me list, but he is. We can talk about him. Seeing anywhere from 35 to 50% chance of rain. Yeah, the forecasts are kind of all over the place. So I don't think anybody really knows what to think. Yeah, I'm with you, Matt. Torn on Bell. Like as far as I'm thinking, like a 3 entry max contest, I'd probably go like 1 lineup with Bell, and then the other 2 not. Me, like I'm fine leveraging my fastest lap bet with not going with him in DFS. Like I'm perfectly fine doing that. Now, obviously, if you're not able to do that, then you really have to make a decision. But I'm fine going low on Bell and DFS because I have that bet. Go Alex Bowman. Yeah. Alex Bowman, I think, is a solid top 10 car today. Hard Rock opened him at plus 120 last night. If you were in the Rotoballer Discord, you know that I hit that at plus 120. I think Bowman has a good car. Yeah, Gilliland for place differential points, of course. Todd Gilliland's really good here. Todd Gilliland was really good in the rain at Martinsville. Or not at Martinsville, but at New Hampshire last year. Gilliland, I've had my eye on Gilliland all week. I've if you watch Stacking Denny's on Wednesday night, Nick and I both kind of pegged Todd Gilliland as the low price driver, and he's right there. Starting 25th, he can get. I still think he can get up there and score a top 10. That's how much speed I think Gilliland has. If he can get track position, I think he can definitely contend for a top 15. A little bit of luck, he gets there in top 10. But yeah, Gilliland, I think, is a solid top 10 car today. Hard Rock opened him at plus 120 last night. If you were in the Rotoballer Discord, you know that I hit that at plus 120. I think Gilliland for place differential points, of course. Todd Gilliland's really good here. Todd Gilliland was really good in the rain at Martinsville. Gilliland, I have had my eye on Gilliland all week. I've had my eye on Gilliland. Ty Gibbs, fake speed. Yeah, 100%. You can't trust him right now. He qualified decently. Where'd he even qualify? Like 11th or something. 13th. Yeah, showed decent long run speed. I have no interest in trusting Ty Gibbs. He's not even good here. So it's a little bit of a difference. I'll pause and think about it for a while with Ty Gibbs. But at a track like Martinsville, he sucks here. He's not good. So I have no interest, even with the potential speed that he showed in practice, no interest in Ty Gibbs today. Did anyone change tires during practice? I think they only had one set, if I remember right. I don't think they were able to. That's a good pick. A lot of sportsbooks opened back up. I was honestly a little surprised. Sportsbooks opened back up with Blaney as the favorite. They're all kind of shifting now. Lines are moving a bit. A lot of Hamlin's the favorite at a couple. I think FanDuel right now has Hamlin as the co-favorite, and then Chase Elliott's up there as well. But Blaney's still overall, I would say, the favorite today to win. But I agree with you. I like Chase Elliott today. I think Chase Elliott takes it. I'm not sold on Hamlin either. I could be persuaded, but I'm not sold on Hamlin. I think he's getting a little overvalued today. Looking for value, $7,500 and below. Options have to be Ryan Preece, Carson Hocevar. I agree. Preece at 75 for sure. Custer. Don't forget about Custer. Cole Custer is really good at short flat tracks. Showed really good speed in practice. Hocevar did not like his car in practice at all. And it did not match up with the speed charts. But he straight up hated his car. And he was getting passed on the long run by people. So I'm a little leery of Hocevar. I don't think you can ignore the speed that car showed on the long runs, but I don't like when a driver is that openly about how much he does not like his car. You need to feel comfortable in your car at Martinsville. So I could see myself being underweight on Hocevar today. Road course drivers tend to, I wouldn't say have an edge at Martinsville, but the braking and everything, it kind of helps them there. So that's why, like, SVG finished 12th last year at the fall Martinsville race. And I think part of that is because of, I don't remember exactly what happened in that race and how he got up there, but he looked decent in practice this weekend. But it's kind of the road course thing where they have a little bit of a little bit. Like I said, it's not really an edge, but there's something there. Like Allmendinger always had a bit of not an edge, but just like dark horse potential every time we came to Martinsville, especially before the next gen car. He hasn't been that great in the next gen car. Cole Custer, sleeper pick, 100%. All right. So if you watched Stacking Denny's earlier this week on Wednesday, Nick and I do our way too early DraftKings lineups. And I'll tell you what, I don't hate the lineup that I put together on Wednesday night. I don't mind rolling with this today. After practice, after qualifying, I'm perfectly fine with it. Going Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Hocevar, Custer, Todd Gilliland. Like I said, I'm a little leery on Hocevar, but I love Custer. I love Gilliland this week. I think Chase Elliott is probably the top dominator today. Byron has won the last two spring races here, and then Blaney's the obvious pick, starting 32nd. Blaney can get up there and lead, potentially win this race. I mean, there's a reason he's still the favorite to win here today. So outside of Blaney having issues, which he really doesn't happen at Martinsville, he's so good here. We've seen him come through the field before. When he has that good of a long run car, he can come through the field. It's hard to pass here, but Blaney can do it when he has that good of a car. We know the Fords are good on the long runs with long run speed. I put in my article, just don't overthink this. Don't overthink Blaney today. I don't think this is the place. And obviously, this can change if he goes and nails the wall on lap 4, like Zane Smith did at Las Vegas last year. But don't overthink it. Blaney's a smash pick today. If we don't consider Blaney a dominator, would you rather play 3 good ones close to the top or 2 with Blaney? I'd rather go 2 with Blaney. I'd also try to, if you want to get 3 dominators, I'd potentially come down to someone like a Bubba Wallace, someone like an Alex Bowman, some of the lower priced potential dominators up there. Is there a scenario for a lineup without Bell and Elliott? I mean, there's definitely a scenario. We saw it yet last week at Homestead. You know, something like a Blaney happening to. So let's say Bell leads 20 laps, and then starts falling back, runs about 7th place all day. You know, that's not going to get you what you need from a $10,200 driver if he finishes 7th from starting on the pole and only leads 20 laps. Okay. Let's say Chase Elliott goes out, dominates stage 1, stage 2. They have a loose tire at the restart on a pit stop. He has to come into pit under green flag conditions. Boom, he's multiple laps down. Race is done. There's your scenario for a lineup without Bell and Elliott. It's a lot easier to happen. You don't even need a guy to wreck at a place like Martinsville, because if they have to pit under green flag conditions, it's game over. Yeah, Stacking Denny's really liked Bubba Wallace. I still don't mind him. My problem is he fell off quite a bit in practice on the long run. And the issue is he starts 8th, and that's probably like, I could see him finishing top 10, but it's nowhere near like I feel good about him finishing, top 5. I could see him finishing top 5, but it's nowhere near to where I'm like, you know, Bubba Wallace is a very strong top 5 contender. It's one of those where I could see it happening, but I'm not expecting it in a way. I think he's a solid top 10 guy. I'm considering betting him -112 for a top 10 on Bet Rivers. Haven't hit it yet. I'm fine with my Alex Bowman top 10 bet right now. But it's tougher to roster him this week. Despite the price point, still love the price point, but his ceiling is very capped due to his starting position. And if you're in that price range and you can't afford, and you can't go up there and grab Ryan Preece at 75, I think Bubba's the next best target in that price range. You could potentially make an argument for Gregson there in that front row. I think front row has decent speed here. Suarez isn't that good at Martinsville. Austin Dillon, my projections really like Austin Dillon this week. But then, if you're not going Bubba, then I think you're coming down into the 6,000s with the hosts of ours, the Custers, and then getting down there. So it's definitely not an easy click. I will say that. It's a lot of things have to go right for Bubba to be a good play, even at 72. Definitely, you still need some exposure, but I'm not where I was on. He's a tournament pick for sure. Where can you find who you use for 36 for 36? I'm doing such a bad. I apologize, guys. I am doing such an awful job at keeping up with that. There's no good place right now to go and check that outside of like going in your old emails. And yeah, that is a complete mess up on my part, and I do apologize. I'm gonna lock this lineup in. By the way, like I said, I really like this from the lineup I made Wednesday night. I'm still fine with it after practice and qualifying. It's actually close to my optimally projected lineup. So just to get back on the Bubba thing, let me go back to that comment. Just to go back to Bubba Wallace here, he's still, if you go by my projected like value per dollar with my projected points, he's still one of the top plays this week. So he's not awful by any means. And then who am I missing here? Got Elliott, Blaney, Custer, Byron, Hocevar, and Gillen. All right, we're gonna lock that one in. Like I said, that was my lineup from Wednesday night. Still like it. Any love for Busher today? He's running so well this year. I don't see why you can't look at him as a. It's definitely like a pretty strong tournament play, where you're not going sure a ton. Starting sixth, he needs to get up there and lead. And I know like the Fords are strong. They have good long run speed. I'm not sure that I like Busher to get up there and lead over Chase Elliott, or even Denny Hamlin, or Kyle Larson, or even William Byron, Christopher Bell. Like it's or even Bowman. Like I think Bowman is. I wish he wasn't $8,800 and starting third, but he's a decent tournament play if you need to play him. So I think too much has to go right for Busher to, one, he's going to have to maintain his track position, but he's going to need to grab laps led and some fastest laps, and I'm not sure that he gets there. And by not sure, I mean I don't think he gets there. So not a ton of love out of me for Busher today. Is Kyle Larson going overlooked today? That is a excellent question, and I think you're right. Larson's good here. And everyone's looking at Hamlin. Everybody's looking at Byron. Everybody's looking at Chase Elliott. Obviously, Blaney. Yeah, I think, and then, if you're not looking at those guys, then there's Christopher Bell who sits on the pole right there. Yeah, I think let's see if we can do a Blaney Larson, a comfortable Blaney Larson Elliott lineup. Because I don't think it's going to be that tough. There you go. Take your pick. Blaney, Larson, Elliott, Gillen, Custer, Allmendinger, SVG. You could even jump down to Zane Smith if you wanted to. I forget exactly how Allmendinger. Yeah, Allmendinger was not good in practice. At those, you're kind of just hoping for them to have good long run speed, and hopefully stay on the lead lap or just one lap down, and then get a lucky break with a caution and get some track position. But if you're going Allmendinger or SVG, but you go to like someone Zane Smith. Zane Smith was 13th in 30 lap average, and I know. I'm not forgetting that Zane Smith always outperforms in practice, but with a little bit of good luck or just not bad luck like he always has, I don't mind Zane Smith today. And you go Zane here. I mean, you have a ton of room to move around. If you wanted to get off of Custer and go somewhere else, if you wanted to get off of Gill and jump up to like an Eric Jones. Eric Jones wasn't that good today. That's a good question. John Hunter Nemechek, he's not good here. I don't know where that 16th place qualifying effort came from. Could he be one of those guys that, somehow, like, you also, the thing about today is you can't, it's super enticing to focus a lot on place differential points, looking at, if you're comparing a Zane Smith to John, or a Zane, or let's go John Hunter Nemechek to Riley Herbst. Okay. Clearly, the place differential play there would be Herbst, but you also have to take into account Martinsville, super short track. They're going to start lapping cars early. Starting row 8 compared to row 18 is a huge difference in track position. And that just helps guys like a Zane Smith starting 19th, a John Hunter Nemechek starting 16th. It just increases the chances that they stay on the lead lap longer, which increases the chances that they end up with a top 15 finish, because the line today for cars on the lead lap at the end is 17.5 last time I checked. So there's also that aspect that you have to think about when it comes to Martinsville, and it's the drivers being able to, even with a good qualifying, or because of a good qualifying effort, despite their poor track history, they still have a higher potential to stay up there because of their qualifying effort. It's where you have to draw the line of where they qualified too high to where they then need to finish top 15 for them to make it. Now, it's a lot easier for guys starting, priced way down in $5,200 for John Hunter Nemechek. But something like that, I'd rather go Zane Smith, starts a little bit further back, so he has a little bit more upside for place differential, but still has the beginning track position. And that's why I love these guys like Custer and Gilliland, because they're not super far back. They still have place differential upside, but they're also good here and showed speed. So to me, the low dollar guys are Gilliland and Custer, and then you can kind of just pick and choose where else you want to go in that range. But there's no other like super like no-brainer picks down there. Not that there's like any no-brainer picks, because we're still talking about guys like Cole Custer and Todd Gilliland, but those guys, it's just a step above these other guys where you're kind of just throwing darts and you're hoping to have some good luck. So yeah, Stenhouse or Herbst, neither. I mean, like, I don't see them getting in the optimal outside of I'd rather take a chance on even a John Hunter Nemechek, but I'd rather take a chance on a Zane Smith, definitely a Todd Gilliland down there, even a Ty Dillon maybe, because Ty Dillon's one of those guys that just is there at the end. He does it every single week, and if he can pull off a surprise top 20, it wouldn't surprise anybody, because that's just what he does. He stays out of trouble. Pulling up his track record here quick. I think we're going to be asking this question a lot about Chase Briscoe, because he does have certain tracks that he's really good at. He's great at Martinsville. I'm concerned that the comments that he's made about this Toyota not being used to how it drives, not being comfortable with it. Being comfortable in the race car at Martinsville is so important. Not to mention the Stewart-Haas cars and Fords had something figured out at Martinsville. That is not up for debate. The Stewart-Haas cars were at their best at Martinsville. They had a legitimate chance to win at Martinsville. They didn't really have a legitimate chance to win anywhere else. Yes, Joe Gibbs Racing is good here, but you add in the fact that Briscoe potentially not. I mean, they're struggling to, at least in the beginning of the races, find speed. I liked that Briscoe looked so fast at the end of Homestead last weekend. I think that means they're getting it. But I have my reservations about Briscoe. I'm going to have some exposure to him, but he is by no means at $9,300, even though he's starting 11th, a must play. And if I'm getting in, if I'm in tournament mindset here, I'm probably going Logano over Briscoe. And then you have Chastain right behind Briscoe or right under Briscoe in the price range, who has the place differential upside. Honestly, tournament-wise, I'd probably even go Bowman over Briscoe. I think Briscoe might be a little overhyped this week just because of his track record. I can definitely see where people can get to him, but I'm not crazy high on him. Don't hate him though. If you enjoy that for an answer / non-answer. Looking at Ty Dillon here, 24th in 2023, 23rd in 2022. So I think Ty Dillon's in play this week as well. If you wanted to jump down there. I mean, hell, you do a Ty Dillon in this lineup, it gives you an extra 1,000 off of if you want to get off of Custer or Gilliland. Could get up to Bubba if you wanted to. If you liked Hocevar and you didn't want to go Gilliland, you could go Hocevar here. You go Blaney, Larson, Elliott, Hocevar, Custer, Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon he didn't really make a super long run. He was 16th in 15 lap average though. Decent qualifying effort for him in 28th. So yeah, if you really need to go deep down in the barrel, Ty Dillon at 5,000 is not an awful option this week. I am going to roll with this lineup. See what else I can do here with Larson in there. Hocevar. And like I said, you could go Bubba over Custer and then still roll with Gilliland. I think I'd rather go Hocevar over Gilliland though. Optimal lineup today is, let me pull up the optimizer here. My computer's been running slow as shit lately. One second here. I know it goes Blaney, Elliott. I think it goes Blaney, Larson, Elliott. Let me double check this. Or not Larson. I misspoke there. Blaney, Byron. Yeah, it goes Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, and Todd Gilliland, which is basically the exact same thing as I started out with at the start of the stream, and the one that I mentioned that I made on Wednesday night. It's just swapping Hocevar for Dillon, which again, it's one of those situations where Hocevar starts so far back. If Hocevar starts that far back and they don't have speed to begin the race, he's a lap down quick. Austin Dillon has a weird history here. He's either like top 15 or he's in the 30s. Kyle Busch looks strong on the long run in practice. I'm hoping that speed transfers over to Dylan. Dylan just, there's certain tracks that Austin Dillon's good at, and I like him at Martinsville. So I got to put in my optimal projected here in this contest. So it's going Blaney Byron, Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, Todd Gilliland, and Austin Dillon. Did I already say that? I probably already said that. All right. Check this one out here. Thoughts on Blaney, Elliott, Hamlin, Custer, Gilliland, Jones. I will note that my second highest projected lineup is it goes Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Custer, SVG, and Gilliland. Obviously, it leaves you an extra $700 there to play with. You could jump up and grab Larson if you wanted to off of Byron and go with that lineup. And that's similar to what we were just building with starting Blaney, Larson, Elliott. Same type of thing. But I think a lot of my lineups today are going to be this 3-stud, 3-dud type of build. But getting to this lineup, Blaney, Elliott, Hamlin, Custer, Gilliland, Jones. I'm not sold on Eric Jones here. He's one of those that, I do like the fact that his teammate qualified so well. Let me check. It's just so hard for me to trust. Eric Jones sometimes, but it's also hard to pass up someone who has a decent track record here, that's priced low, and starts 31st. Last year, he finished 29th and 12th. Year before that, he finished 21st. So, yeah, his only quote-unquote bad finish at Martinsville is the 31st in 2023. So, yeah, I don't mind this lineup. If it was me, I'd probably jump down, and I think I'd rather prefer someone like an SVG over Eric Jones. But I honestly cannot. I think this is a good build right here for you. Obviously, a lot of people were jumping on the Hamlin train this morning, and I love Blaney Elliott today. In practice, Eric Jones didn't really make a long run. John Hunter Nemechek showed decent speed on the long run, though. I'm going to put this lineup in just to have some Eric Jones exposure, and 2, some Denny Hamlin exposure. Reddick is not very good here. And it makes it even more difficult this week because he qualified, I think, 10th, 9th. So at 77, even at 7,700 for a guy like Tyler Reddick, I'm not there with him. So if you go Blaney, Elliott, Chastain, Reddick, Custer, Gilliland. So I think there's going to be a lot of people landing on Custer, Gilliland, and that's why I like pivoting to Zane. Honestly, with this, instead of Reddick, I would take Reddick off. I'd probably come off of Gilliland and go down to Zane, and then go either Kyle Busch or Josh Berry. Kyle Busch will go in the long run. Josh Berry's Josh Berry. I'd probably go Berry there. And I'd roll with that. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do there. I'd probably go Blaney Elliott, Chastain. If you wanted to keep that core of Blaney Elliott, Chastain, I'd rather do that. Yeah, I'd even go I'd go Barry over Kez. I don't trust Kez. Yeah, and that comment that just came in. Keselowski, I'll probably eat my words one of these weeks when I don't trust him, but like right now, I don't see how you can. They are so far off from their teammates, and I honestly think they might be in test mode. But yeah, I think I'd rather go Barry here. Do you trust? I think Chastain is another guy. Do you trust him? I wish there was enough cap here to go Briscoe over Chastain, to be honest with you. But to do that, you'd have to get off of Zane and come down to hell. Do you go John Hunter Nemechek there? You know what? Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to put both of these in because I like that one with John Hunter Nemechek, but also getting off of Chastain and going Briscoe. So I want this lineup to have. So I have some Chastain exposure. Again, I'm not super high on Chastain, but the question is, do you come off of Zane to John Hunter Nemechek, or do you jump off of Custer? You can go either way there, but you go Blaney, Elliott, Briscoe, Josh Berry. This gets you in that middle price range quite a bit. I think Josh Berry honestly definitely has top 10 potential. I would not be surprised if he finishes top 5. And you can do Ty Dillon, but like I kind of want to go John Hunter Nemechek here. This lineup build has me thinking here. So if you go Blaney, the problem is you don't really have a second dominator, so you're really relying on. Yep, you read my mind, Kurt. Because I was looking at going off of Priest off of Barry. So you go instead of Barry, you jump down, you grab Priest, let's say you roll Todd Gilliland, and let's just do Zane Smith here to see how much cap we have left. You go Byron. There's a lot of ways to go here. So you could, if you did go Briscoe, Blaney, Elliott, Briscoe, Priest, Austin Dillon, Todd Gilliland. And again, if you didn't go Austin Dillon, you jump down and went with like Zane Smith. That opens up the door to get it. Because what I'm worried about here is you're relying on Chase Elliott to be your main dominator, and you need him to dominate a ton because Briscoe is probably going to take a while to get there, and Blaney's definitely going to take a while to get there starting 31st. So you need Chase Elliott. You don't have any safety net here with a Byron or a Hamlin or a Larson to save you. You need Chase Elliott. That's the only concern I have with a build like this. But this is also a Custer lineup, which I kind of wanted to definitely do today. All right, getting caught up here. Okay. Yep. Right there with you, Sean. So here's why I like Logano this week. One, he does that. He does the off sequence strategy stuff. You know, you can't predict that stuff, but chances are they're going to try it. Two, really good at Martinsville. Three, Ryan Blaney had so much speed. Logano's basically in the same car. And when one of them has speed, they tend to both have speed. Same thing with Cindric this year, and then Josh Berry. So if you go someone like, if you go Blaney, Elliott, Logano, there, yeah, then Priest, Jones, Gilly. And I wish he had an extra 100 to go for Custer, but I get it that it's pretty locked there. But yeah, I think that's a strong build if you want to get to Logano. I also don't mind. You go Logano there. You could also come down, grab Zane Smith, and then if you didn't want to go Priest, you have your choice between Barry and Kyle Busch. All Fords in a dominant Chevy there. Like I said, I'm talking myself into Zane Smith more than any Zane Smith is more than I'm comfortable with, but yeah, I can't argue against the Priest Jones build, and I'm probably gonna put that one in here too. As let me do this quick, and then I'll catch up to the rest of these comments. So you go Blaney, Elliott, Logano, Priest, Eric Jones, and Gilly Gang. All right. Yeah, what percentage of lineups do you think will have both Bell and Elliott? I agree. I think a lot of people are going to choose between the two. Again, I'm not super high on Bell. Let me look at what my projections like with those two forced in. Similar to the optimal here. So yeah, it just like swapping out. So my optimal projected is Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Austin Dillon, Cole Custer, Todd Gillen. This is the exact same thing, highest projected. It's just swapping out Byron for Bell. You could jump up to Hocevar if you didn't want to go off or go with Gill or Custer. There's also Suarez up there. If you didn't want to go Austin Dillon. Here's an interesting one. This is the third highest projected with it. Instead of Custer, it jumps down to SVG and then goes Bubba Wallace. So you go Blaney, Bell, Elliott, Bubba, SVG, and Gilliland. Oh, here's one for you. What if this could be a non-Blaney lineup? I would not recommend this. But what if you jump down to Byron? You go Byron, Bell, Elliott. You go Custer Gilliland and Priest. That's one way to get off of Blaney. Yeah, Chase, I think this is strong. Blaney, Hamlin, Elliott, Hocevar, Custer, Nemechek. Pretty risky there, rolling with Nemechek. Let me put this in here and see what kind of cap space we're looking at left over. Honestly, I'd rather go Zane. Go Blaney, Hamlin. Yeah, Blaney, Hamlin, Elliott, Hocevar, Custer, Zane. Barry Priest, same line. Still get 2, possibly 3 Dominators if you get Bowman or Bubba in there. There's an interesting one. Larson Elliott, Barry Priest, Bubba, Cole Custer. If you didn't want to go Bubba, you could go Hamlin over Larson, and then go like a Buescher over Bubba. Buescher's a tough one because he just did not practice well. I think I'd rather go Larson though. So you go Elliott. Or do you go Priest or not Priest, but Byron? I'd rather go Larson there than Byron. You can go either way, for sure. I'm gonna play around with this once I lock this one in, because you could go down to Byron and go off of Custer down to Zane, and I think you could get Alex Bowman then. Yeah, you go Byron Elliott, Bowman, Barry Priest, Smith. I like that as an off sequence another no Ryan Blaney lineup. Get you the Hendrick guys. Bowman's a bit of a risk because he starts so high, but he also if him and Chase swap the lead and do that. Again, I have too much Zane Smith already this week. But I'll check what my so again. I think you should have a ton of Blaney exposure today. He's the best driver on this slate. But I'll see what my projections say when I take Blaney out of the driver pool. So it goes, yeah, basically like we had before. It goes Larson Byron, Elliott, Austin Dillon, Custer Gilliland. Could actually go up to SVG if you wanted, or up to Suarez or Hocevar. Lock that one in there. Thoughts on Jones this week? Yeah, I already know I'm going to be underweight on Jones. But like you said, he's been really good in the next gen here. Obviously, he starts 31st. His teammate has speed, at least in qualifying. And even in practice, Nemechek was 18th and 25 lap average. So I'm not getting to Eric Jones, but I cannot argue. I'm having to force myself to get to Eric Jones. I'd rather go Custer or Gilliland, but Jones is a solid choice as well. And I can almost guarantee he's not projecting high on my projections either. You're going to have to manually bump him up. Another non-Blaney high projecting lineup when you use my projections is Byron, Bell, Elliott, Bubba, Custer, and Gilly. You could also, if you came off of Bubba, you could get up to Priest. And like I said, I definitely think that Blaney is a very strong pick today, but you definitely need some lineups without him. I'm gonna do this one as well. Because again, I'm low on Bell today, but I understand that I need more. You could also go Hamlin with this lineup. I'll probably do that as well. I just love the core of Custer going so much at the bottom. It'll probably be my downfall today. Yeah, so you could also go Hamlin here. So you go Bell, Hamlin, Elliott. Gregson, yeah, I agree with you. Cheaper than saves you some money off of Priest. Priest obviously the kind of like the no-brainer mid-tier pick, but if you want to be different and you want to save some cap space, I don't mind Gregson. Again though, I'd probably still I'd still probably rather go Austin Dillon. Yeah, if you go Hamlin, what did I just have? You go Hamlin, Bell, Elliott, Bubba, Custer, Todd Gilliland. Ooh, what about this? So you go Hamlin, Bell, Elliott instead of Gilly. Let's go down to Zane again. I'm landing on Zane too much, but it lets you get to Priest. So you go Hamlin, Bell, Elliott, Priest, Custer, Zane, Smith. Any love for Herbst? Not really, no. Rookie's not very good at Martinsville. Starting way back. Obviously, he can move up, but I'm just like a top 20 finish would be a shock out of him. Mears and Meyer, yeah. I'm not getting there. If you're going to Myers, why not just go where? I think it'd be hard to do a lineup where you don't have that extra 100 to just grab Cody Ware. At least he has a slight chance of decently moving up. I think people are sleeping on Kyle Busch today, but I really like Josh Berry. I think they're both strong, but I agree. Kyle Busch looked good in practice. Kyle Busch is good here at Martinsville. His recent results don't show it, but he's good here. Oh, I know. Oh. The amount of times that I talk myself into Zane Smith, and no matter how many, it's just like last week. I was not on Zane Smith last week, and where did he finish? Didn't he finish like 11th or something? It's the weeks that I'm not on him that he gets those surprising finishes. The weeks that I am on him that he just runs like dick. He is running well here. Yeah, he finished 11th last week. I can see a similar result out of him this weekend. You know, last week he started 17th, he finished 11th, starting 19th this week. I think he can. I'm talking myself into Zane just like you. Why the hatred toward Cole Custer? I'm curious. Do you just not trust his equipment? Because I don't think you can hate him at Martinsville. This is one of, if not his best track. Non-Elliott lineup of Blaney, Hamlin. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so you go Blaney, Hamlin, Bell, Gilly, Custer. Yeah, SVG or Allmendinger. Toss up for me there. I'd probably go SVG. I don't blame you for going Allmendinger there though. Dinger over Custer. Interesting. Interesting. I do feel like I'm quite heavy on Custer today. So I'm going to take him out of my player pool here and see what my projection's like. Yeah, so going back here, someone talk me into Allmendinger. I need to fully understand why. Because I feel like you'd rather go SVG than Allmendinger. Yeah, I get that. Martinsville's like a road course. I feel like we're holding on to that Allmendinger hope at Martinsville, and he's just not in the next gen car. He's just not. He doesn't have it. And again, maybe I could be. I fully admit I could be sleeping on Allmendinger. So you go Blaney, Hamlin, Bell here. Gilly. Oops. What's over here? Custer, Allmendinger. Go Larson instead of Hamlin. Yeah. Instead of choosing between the two, you roll with both, right? Go Blaney, Larson, Bell, Allmendinger, SVG, Todd Gillen. Again, I think people might be sleeping on Larson today. It's hard to go against Hendrick speed. I'd still probably rather go just to stick with Toyota here. I don't know what I want to do. You stick with Toyota, you go Briscoe, Hamlin, Bell. And you go completely off of Hendrick here. It's probably too. That's probably too. This is too risky of a lineup here. So I took Custer out of my player pool, and the top lineup goes Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Gilly, and Zane Smith. Blaney, Elliott, Byron, Austin Dillon, Todd Gilliland, and Eric Jones. Again, I need more Eric Jones for sure. Oh, that's a good question. Cheapest driver with a legitimate shot to win. I'll wait for this page to reload here. Legitimate shot to win. So you're saying no. Oops. Ty Gibbs is not winning this race. If there was a yes/no bet on it, I would bet that for sure. Honestly, realistically, maybe Bubba. Maybe. But other than that, I maybe like even lower would be Busher. Like just tiny percent chance to win. Bubba maybe would be the lowest, but other than that, I think Bowman's probably the lowest as far as like legitimate shot to win. I think it's so hard to bet on against these guys up top. We know who's good here at Martinsville. Blaney's, Larson's, Hamlin's, Byron's, Elliott, they're so good here. And then you get into the Logano's and the Briscoes. It's lowest is probably Bubba that has a legitimate shot to win today, but even then I'm a little skeptical. I don't remember if we did a lineup like this before or not. So you go. Yeah, we did. I was gonna say Blaney, Elliott, Briscoe, Priest, Austin Dillon. Gibbs can win today. I respectfully and entirely disagree. I have a hard time seeing Gibbs even in the top 10 today. So comment up here. About going too cheap guys and building like that. Where is this at? Ty Dillon and Zane Smith punts. Ugh. Let me see what the optimizer says. That's kind of where I'm heading. That's tough. Both Ty and Zane. I probably wouldn't do this, but so optimizer says, God, Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Bubba, Zane, and Ty. I'd rather go Barry or Priest. Second one has Blaney, Larson, Elliott, Bubba, Zane, and Ty. Yeah, I'd probably go with this type of build. Go either Barry. Yeah, Barry. Go Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Barry, Zane, and Ty if I had to dip down that far with those two. If you have any guys or any like starter builds you want me to work on, just throw them in the comments. I got, I think, two lineups left here before I have to hop off. Still got a little over 2 hours until lock. I guess 3 lineups left. Did I not save that last one? The Blaney Byron Elliott. Jones. Austin Dillon. Gilly. Mm-hmm. Drop Byron for Bowman. Which lineup are you talking about? Or just in general? All right, with Zane Ty. So Bowman, Blaney, Elliott. You could go Logano there. I'd probably go Briscoe. And again, that leaves you an extra 5. Like I don't think I'd. Yeah, I'm not loving that. Start off with Priest, Hamlin, and Bell. That makes it tough. You could go this with Priest, Hamlin, Bell, Blaney, Ty Dillon, Zane Smith. There's a Ty Dillon, Zane Smith lineup. All Hendrick cars. So the problem with going all Hendrick is you really need them to basically. I mean, they all have to finish top 5, but they all have to get enough dominator points to make it work. Yeah, like I said, I can't see myself getting to Myers or Mears. So if I'm going to do this, I'd rather go wear Ty Dillon. Just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna throw this one in there just to have an all Hendrick lineup. Can you tweet out your DraftKings contest? Yeah, I'll do that right now. Blaney right now I have in. So I've done 19 lineups and I have him in 12 of them. So I did a little span there where I didn't have any Blaney. I will say out of my 19 lineups I've done, 18 of them have had Chase Elliott. You can tell who I'm on today. I honestly don't even hate betting Chase Elliott at plus 850 to win. All right, let me tweet out this DraftKings contest quick. Not getting to Cindric. Just not getting there. I think on a good day he's about a 12th place car. All right. You are welcome. Good luck today. Hopefully it's a good race. All right, let's Bell Larson start. Let's do that. Let's do a Bell without Elliott Larson start. How about that? So you go Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell. Scroll down here to one without Chase. A lot of my projected ones are still going with Chase, even over Blaney. Probably because I have them projected pretty close to total points. But with Larson Bell, I'd probably, and you didn't want to go, man, this is, I'd go Byron. Like I'm so high on Byron today, but I'd go Larson Bell, Byron. Austin Dillon. Yeah, Gilly, and then either Custer or Jones. Man, fading Blaney and Elliott with this lineup is something. But Oh, excuse me. It's not like you have an awful build here because you have, I mean, Larson and Byron are going to be strong today. Bell is on the pole. If he stays up there and leads a bunch ahead of, if Bell and Elliott run 1-2 for the entire first stage, there's no telling that this is a similar build that you could go outside of what my normal stuff was. But yeah, that's probably how I do that. I do need a non-chase lineup. I'm curious what my top projected lineup without chases. What the top lineup is without chase in it. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep, so my apologies. Yeah, so my optimal projected without chase in it goes. I'm not sure I love this one. It goes. I'd rather go the Bell route. It goes Blaney, Byron, Briscoe, Bubba, Custer, Todd Gilliland. Again, I'd rather go the Bell route. Second one goes Blaney, Larson, Byron, Custer, Gilliland, Zane Smith. Again, I'd rather go the Bell route. Because if you're not going Elliott, you're assuming Bell's the early dominator. So you go Bell. Yeah, you go Blaney, Byron, Bell, Gilliland, Custer, or Gilliland, Austin Dillon. And then either Allmendinger or SVG. I'd probably go SVG here. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to hop off here a little bit under 2 hours until lock. So we got some time, but if you have any questions, let me know quick and I'll answer them. Other than that, we'll move on to or get on with this race and, hopefully make some more money. As always, make sure you check out rotoballer.com. All my content's there. Another big week on the betting card last week. Up almost 17.5 units this season alone. only one losing week. I lost a third of a unit at Las Vegas. So betting card has been on absolute fire. That alone is going to pay for your subscription. Yeah, make sure you check it out. Rotoballer.com. Use code Jordan25. You'll get it 30% off. You'll get my bets, my algorithm predicted finishing order, my DraftKings projections, my picks, everything. Not to mention we do weekly driver previews for all drivers, driver recaps. Those previews are free. Make sure you check it out. I'm like I always say, I'm proud of what we're doing at Rotoballer, and appreciate all the support. Appreciate you guys watching this. I hope you guys have as good a time as I do. And yeah, there's nothing else. See you guys. Make sure you join my private DraftKings contest. I just tweeted out the link. Make sure you get in there. Is fading Blaney the best chance to win a GPP? Single entry, I would definitely be there. I can get behind that in single entry. I can get behind that in qualifiers. You know, all it takes is one issue at a track like Martinsville. And if you just pivot off of Blaney down to Larson or down to Byron or Hamlin, it's, you know, that's the difference between, you know, qualifying and not. So I wouldn't go full fade if you're going 150, you know, you're not fully fading Blaney, but he's going to be the highest owned guy on this slate, especially in high dollar, especially in the 3-entry max contests, single entry contests. So if you're going to fade him, I do him in those. I do him in the single entries, and just build a lineup without him. Like I said, one small mistake and you're wiping out a ton of lineups. And it, you know, he's the highest priced driver on the slate, so you can literally go any other route. Contest link in here. Let me see. It's in the description of the video if you're on YouTube. Let me see if I can post it here as a comment. So that should be it right there. That it looks like that went through. So there's the link to the contest right there. I just put it in the chat. If not, go to my Twitter. It's one of the most recent tweets on there. But yeah, good luck today. Let's like I said, let's hope if Christopher Bell gets the fastest lap of the race, I'm going to be ecstatic, and we will have a long discussion if he is jumping off of my dead to me list. But as of now, him and Zane Smith are on my dead to me list, and if you've been here this entire time, you know that I've talked myself into Zane Smith, especially today. So good luck to everybody. DraftKings, betting, everything. Enjoy the race today at Martinsville. Be back next week for Darlington, I think is next week. That's going to be a great race. I love breaking down Darlington. So yeah, good luck to everybody. See you guys later.